Okay, let's go. Welcome, episode 2, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templar. This is the director's cut, so I've not played the director's cut before. I have played the original one though. So, a few extra bits in this one, which I'm not used to. There was a bit at the beginning which I hadn't played before, so that was good fun. I don't know if you saw that. So this bit I do recognise, so when I'm playing as George Stobart, those are the bits that were in the original. And then there are some extra bits where you play as Nico. So those have been fun to get into, sort of like playing a new game, and then you've got the nostalgia of George Stobart here as well. So what did we do last episode? We managed to we got into the sewers and found the clown. I think the clown. What did we? Yeah, the clown knows this grease.
It was the soggy tissue I'd found in the sewer.
Yeah, soggy tissue.
It was the scrap of material I'd found in the sewer.
Scrap material in the sewer. And then we managed to give Nico a call, and she's invited us round, and we're here at her apartment. So, let's go and talk to this lady over here.
Oh, hi.
Bonjour, monsieur. Would you like me to foretell your future?
No thanks.
I'm very good. It only takes a minute.
Thanks all the same, but I'm not superstitious. Besides, if it only takes a minute, that's not much of a future to look forward to.
Okay.
Do you know a young woman called Nicole Collard?
Yes, I do. She lives upstairs from me in the apartment block across the street. The door isn't locked, but you'll need to give it a gentle nudge. It sticks, you see, because of the damp. The landlord said he'd fix it before winter sets in. He's been saying that for 3 years.
How long has Mademoiselle Collard lived here?
A few months. She's in for a shock when the cold weather comes. Drafty windows, insufficient heating. It's a struggle to keep warm. The only reason I stay is because the rent is cheap. Your young lady, she deserves better.
I thought Mademoiselle Collard was a successful photographer.
Not as successful as she makes out for all her fine clothes. Oh, I've heard her crying herself to sleep at night.
That's awful.
Now don't you let on that I've told you. She's proud, that one. Too proud, if you ask me.
Have you seen anyone out here watching Mademoiselle Collard's apartment?
Yes, I have. A strange man. Tall and thin as a broomstick. He kept his face hidden, but I saw his eyes peering from evil little slits.
How was he dressed?
A long brown raincoat with a hat.
Or like Humphrey Bogart?
Yes, but he didn't have Bogart's charisma. Besides, this guy looked like he needed a toilet. You never saw Bogart clenching his buttocks like that.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Mademoiselle Collard?
No, monsieur.
Okay, fair enough.
Are the flowers for sale?
Oui, monsieur.
Okay. I'll take a bunch of those white ones.
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
No?
They are lilies, monsieur. Some people associate them with death.
Yikes. Well, thanks for telling me. What other flowers do you have?
Dahlias?
What do they signify?
Insecurity?
I don't want to give her the wrong idea about me. What about the tall yellow ones?
Those are iris, the flame of passion.
And the little yellow ones?
Sensuality.
Well, they're no use to me. I want to make an impression, not jump down her throat. I've changed my mind. Will you tell my fortune?
You're going on a long journey.
My, oh my. What a surprise. Can you tell me anything I don't already know? How does this fortune-telling routine work?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be selling flowers for a living.
Haven't you ever wondered why you were blessed with the gift?
Well, it's a bit like satellite television, I suppose. Some of us are born with a built-in receiver dish. I just happen to be one of the lucky ones.
Hello, Phantom Elf. How's it going?
Can you really foretell the future?
Only time will tell, monsieur. The strange thing is, I can't seem to see myself in the future. Other people, I have no problem. But when I try to see what might happen to me, nothing.
That must be scary.
Maybe. I figure it's a kind of natural safety mechanism. Either that, or I don't have a future.
Hi, Alfie. Thanks for joining me. So in this, while they're talking and stuff, I'm not going to be talking over dialogue because we want to hear what they're saying. So we've got a big adventure with these, but I will. There's lots of puzzles and things in this game, so I'll be talking through the puzzles and stuff. But when I'm doing the dialogue and the conversations, I'm just going to stay quiet, so I'm not talking over all of the stuff. So yeah, if you haven't played this game before, it's called Broken Sword. It's a game I used to play when I was a kid, and I'm just going through it again, just for old time's sake. I hope the sound's okay and everything. Let me know if it's not.
What do you make of this tool?
Is it something a dentist would use?
No, it's for raising manhole covers.
Formidable.
Do you recognize this nose?
No, monsieur.
What can you tell me about this tissue?
Nothing.
What can you tell me about this material?
It's a very expensive piece of cloth, monsieur.
See you later.
That's right, monsieur. You will.
Okay, so we've exhausted everything we could say to her, so we'll go into Nico's apartment. I remember she said, give the door a gentle nudge. It always made me laugh, this bit, when I was a kid. So just remember she said gentle nudge.
Remembering the flower seller's advice, I pushed the door gently just above the lock.
Gently
Bonjour. I'm glad you could make
smacks
it.
it.
Please, call me George.
Fine. I'm Nicole. Take a seat, George.
There she is, Nico Collard.
Eh bien? And what have you been up to?
I've been exploring the sewers underneath the cafe.
I thought I could smell something bad.
The clown used the sewer to escape and to change out of his costume. I guess he was in a hurry. He left his jacket behind.
And?
I got his tailor's phone number.
You had better luck than I did.
Luck, she said. Luck. Hard work, I'd call it. What happened?
My editor told me to drop the story. Can you believe it?
But you're not going to do that.
Oh, no. I'm going to find out what's behind these killings. It just doesn't add up. It almost feels like some sort of conspiracy. The police in 3 different countries have kept very quiet about the murders. The press don't connect them at all. They blame them on political, religious, or militant minority extremists.
Well, that covers just about everyone. Tell me more about yourself.
There's nothing much to tell.
Well, how'd you get into photography?
I guess I owe that to my father. He bought me my first camera. I was 8, and my parents had just split up.
Did you live with your father?
Yes. My mother went off with her new boyfriend. I didn't mind. Papa was all I needed. 4 years later, he died in a plane crash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I don't mind talking about him. He was more like an older brother, really. Always joking and laughing. Papa always wanted me to study art. That's why I went to college.
Yeah, it's called, well, it's a point-and-click adventure. So it's a bit like a detective kind of game, so it's mystery. So it started off, we were outside the cafe, and a clown came into the cafe with an accordion and blew up. It was a bomb, and he blew it up, and a couple of people died. And you play as these 2 characters here, mainly George, and you're trying to solve the mystery basically of who the killer was, or who was the clown. So yeah, it's a bit like, it's a storyline game where you just got a bit of an adventure. You talk to lots of people. There's lots of puzzles and stuff like that as well, and it's really good. It's quite fun. There's some of the characters in it are quite funny as well, and it's like an adventure game.
Did you learn about photography at college?
God, no. I couldn't afford the materials. We were billed for everything we used. Paint, canvas, paper. Most of my year turned to minimalism. It was cheaper. I used to go poaching in the park for squirrel hair. The only time I wasn't hungry was the term I did printing. I used to eat the potatoes.
You're making fun of me, aren't you?
Oh, no.
Tell me more about the clown's previous victims.
The first was Arnaud Bellotta, the millionaire pharmaceutical baron. He made his money from amphetamines in the post-war slimming and diet boom. Imagine it, millions of housewives literally speeding their butts off. The only witness in the case was his Filipino au pair. She swears he was lured to his death by a snowman.
What about the clown's second victim?
Yamada, the controversial Japanese politician. He inherited his fortune from his father's electrochemical consortium.
How did he die?
At the hands, or should I say flippers, of a giant emperor penguin.
A snowman, a penguin, and now a clown.
I had been about to add mime to the list, but stopped myself. I really didn't want to have to explain to George about my father's involvement with Cachon.
You know, I hate to admit it, but this is scary. And I'll tell you this, I will not be accepting any invitations to costume parties.
I don't blame you for being scared. I am too. But this story could be my only chance for a big break.
Or an early death. This is the tool I used to get into the sewers.
Fascinating, George.
You're not interested, are you?
Oh, of course I am. I think it was very brave of you to go down those sewers.
Yeah? Well, it was kind of scary, but, well, I had a job to do.
Well, you should be a moderator now. You should have a few extra features and things like that.
I found this false nose in the sewer.
Hey, what's this inside it?
The contents of someone's nose?
Don't be cross, George. It says La Risée du Monde. Masks and costumes. It's a costume shop near the Gare Saint-Lazare.
I'll check it out. Maybe the owner remembers who hired the clown costume.
Okay, 1 second, I'm just finding something. Cool. So we've opened up a new place, a new location now, so we can go to that costume shop.
I found this tissue down the sewer.
That's disgusting, George.
No. I think the stuff on it is grease paint, like actors use, or clowns.
It's still disgusting. Get rid of it.
I found a piece of material near the cafe. When I showed it to the concierge, he recognized it right away.
It's very distinctive, all right. Just wait until you see this. I developed a film I shot at the cafe. Here, George, it's an enlargement I made. Look what that guy's wearing.
Checkered pants. The same material as I found in the sewer.
That's right. This guy shouldn't be difficult to find.
Oh, no?
Take a close look at his right cheek.
A scar in the shape of a horseshoe.
Or a crescent moon.
How come you enlarged this photograph of me?
Because I noticed the guy behind you, of course.
Alright. So I think...
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Let's go. So what have we opened up? It was this place, wasn't it? Was it that place? Yeah, this one here. Yeah, so you're a moderator, so you've just unlocked more features. You get a cool little sword next to your name as well, and you can, I think you can kick people and ban people and things like that. But at the moment, it's just, yeah. Oh, cool, have a play with that. Okay, let's talk to this guy.
Excuse me?
Bonjour, monsieur. Please, come in. Welcome. Leave the mundane world behind. For in these four walls, fantasy is king.
I don't want a costume.
Didn't you ever dress up when you were a child?
Not that I remember.
Incredible! You'll be telling me next that you never shared your elder sister's lingerie.
I don't have a sister, and I think I'd look pretty silly in a brassiere. I just need some information.
Of course. How can I help you?
Have you heard of a man named Plantile?
I do not recall anyone of that name.
I'm looking for a man who hired a clown costume from you.
Oui, monsieur. I do not see how I can help.
Don't you keep a record of costumes that you've rented out?
Of course, monsieur, but...
Well, then, I'd like to check your records. Give me the names of everyone who's rented a clown suit.
Impossible. There are too many.
Do you recognize this man?
Oui, monsieur. I sold him some grease paint.
Does this dirty tissue mean anything to you?
Let me smell that. Bestheimer's number 7 white pancake.
Theatrical grease paint, right?
Oui, monsieur. La crème de la crème of Thespian accoutrement.
Have you sold any of it recently?
Yes, 2 cans.
Do you recognize this man?
Ah oui, he was here this morning. That is the man to whom I sold the grease paint. I remember the scar on his face. He chose 2 costumes. Bozo the clown and Seamus the pixie.
A pixie?
Very smart. Green silk with a taffeta lining. He gave me his name as Monsieur Khan.
Yeah, that'll be good. We could do that. We could do like a joint stream. Of course we can. We'll arrange that sometime soon.
Do you want this red nose back?
Not after it's been worn, thank you.
What does this tool mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Okay.
Thanks for your help, buddy.
My pleasure, monsieur. Allow me to shake you by the hand.
Huh? Well, okay. What are you trying to do, kill me?
You did not find it amusing?
I never saw the funny side of electroshock therapy.
Eh bien, it is yours to keep. A gift?
Do I need a license?
No, but I give you a word of warning, monsieur.
What?
Remember to switch it off before you visit the toilet.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that on PS4. We can do that. Cool. So I think what I need to do is now go and call a guy called Todrick, who we called in episode 1. It doesn't matter where we go, I'll go to the police station. Use the phone.
Hello? Who is this? Mr. Todrick? Oh, it's you again. What now?
The man I'm looking for is called Khan. He bought a suit from you, remember?
Mr. Khan. Yes, I remember him. Yes, I delivered the suit to his hotel. The Hotel Ubu. I don't remember the room number. It was upstairs. The second room on the right-hand side of the corridor.
Thanks, Todrick. That's all I wanted to know. Now I've got you, Mr. Clown.
Cool. So we've unlocked another location now. So we can go to Hotel Ubu. Now you can die in this hotel. You can, if you make the wrong decisions, you can end up dead. So we'll have to be very careful. So if we just walk in. And now we've got to go over here. Yeah, Todrick. It's I suppose you call them Todd for short, but Todrick's a funny name, yeah. So I know we've got to try and take this key. I remember all this from when I used to play, so...
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
What?
You were trying to steal that key, no?
No way.
Hey, special stickers. Let's talk to this guy.
I want some information.
Who are you, the police?
I'm conducting a private investigation.
Ah, I know only too well what you mean. That is one of the drawbacks of the catering business. When people book into an hotel, they leave their morals at home, no?
I'm looking for a man who dresses like a clown.
This is a highly respectable hotel, monsieur. There are no clowns here.
If you say so.
Yeah, so when they're not following rules. And there's really, I don't have many rules, it's just respect each other, be kind, that's it really. Don't advertise.
Do you know a man named Plantar?
No, monsieur.
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur.
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No. The guests checked out this morning.
Do you have a guest by the name of Khan?
No, monsieur. Perhaps you would care to check the register.
The man who calls himself Khan has a scar on his right cheek.
Vraiment? I tell you, I do not know a man named Khan.
Maybe not, but I noticed a change in his expression when I mentioned the scar.
Let's show him the picture.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, monsieur. That man is one of our guests.
What name?
I cannot tell you that.
Well, so we know he's definitely there.
Do you recognize this red nose?
No, monsieur.
What do you make of this tissue?
Do you wish me to dispose of it for you, monsieur?
Hey, no! It could be useful. I'm holding on to this.
As you wish, monsieur. Perhaps you would like a little plastic baggie to keep it in?
Nah, it's fine the way it is.
That was nice.
Hey, shake my hand.
I'd rather not, monsieur. I'm still sore from the shock administered by one of the guests. He was secretly concealing an electrical device in the palm of his hand. Practical jokes are so puerile, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, sure.
On to us. Alright, let's go over here and talk to this lady, I think. This lady should help us get the key.
Hi there, ma'am.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George Stobart, ma'am.
How sweet! I once had a stable boy called George. I am Lady Piermont. The common reaction is to kneel and stutter, but it's not obligatory.
A real lady? I mean, you're an honest-to-God aristocrat?
Oh, I don't know about that. Few of my ancestors are honest, not even to God. I can trace my family back to the Normans, but don't let that intimidate you, George. Beneath that impressive pedigree, I'm just flesh and blood. The blood may be blue, but the flesh is the plump beef of old England, so to speak. You appear distracted, George. Is there any way I can help you?
That is the most British accent. We don't all sound like that, by the way, if you're not British and watching this. We don't all sound like Lady Piermont.
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you think he's a gangster?
The Italian suit and the bulge in his pocket?
I know plenty of men with Italian suits and bulges in their pockets. That doesn't necessarily make them gangsters.
I'm looking for a murderer.
Good heavens! You're a private detective.
That's correct, ma'am.
What's the term you Americans use? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I believe what you're thinking of is Dick.
Precisely.
Testing out the emotes there, I see.
Have you come across a man who calls himself Khan?
I am familiar with only one person named Khan.
Genghis Khan, the legendary Mongol barbarian chieftain?
No, darling. Kevin.
Kevin Khan? I never heard of him.
I'd be most surprised if you had, darling. He's a pharmacist in Hemel Hempstead. Organises fundraising for the Rotarians. Lovely man.
Does he have a scar on his cheek?
I really wouldn't know, sweetie.
Are you here in Paris on vacation?
No, darling, I'm on holiday. I needed to get away after Algy's funeral.
I didn't realize you were mourning the loss of a loved one.
I'm not. He was my husband.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband's death.
You wouldn't be if you knew him, my dear. It gave me the opportunity to take a well-deserved holiday. Daphne suggested a change of scenery. Paris, she said. A wild romance is just what you need to take your mind off the inquest. Well, the closest I came to romance was being wooed by a drunken Breton chef. I must say I was disappointed with his coq au vin. Not at all what I was expecting. I was thinking of cutting my holiday short, packing my bags and heading back to Hemel Hempstead. That was until last night.
Yeah, very, very posh. Hello.
What happened to you last night?
I was stricken, Mr. Stobart. Cupid's arrow has cleft my bosom.
They couldn't really miss.
It was just as I'd always imagined it should be. The intimacy of candlelight, romantic music tinkling across the room, and then a stranger's glance. Those brooding eyes, that suave manner, those tight trousers. He was the man I'd been waiting for all my life.
I'm glad he finally turned up after all these years.
Ah, but it wasn't to be. He was merely toying with my affections. And if I ever catch up with him, he's dead.
She likes talking. She talks a lot.
Who was the guy who led you on?
His name is Merlin.
Okay, so we've learned a new name. Let's show him. If we show her this picture, she might recognise.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
My God, it's him! That's Merlin!
Of course it is.
She represented everything I loved about the English. The lady was totally deranged. Merlin? You mean King Arthur's wizard?
Good heavens, no! Monsieur Merlin is a fellow guest. He's the man I've been telling you about. That's the man who spurned me.
Alright then. So...
The man you know as Merlin is a fake.
What do you mean, sweetie?
He's a murderer. He also uses the name Khan.
I am shocked, Mr. Stobart. Shaken. I took him to be a gentleman, a man of honour. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see what exactly.
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. A bundle of papers, perhaps. The clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin went out.
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting documents in the safe?
Yes, darling, positive.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something of great importance.
Yeah. I'd sure like to get my hands on whatever it is. I'll bet they had something to do with Plantow's briefcase. Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
If I could get in there, I would.
Okay. So I think to open the option, we might need to look at the key again. I think you have to look at this document on the desk as well. So try and get the key.
Hey, ne touche pas!
Just looking. There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
Okay, so we know he's in room 22. Let's go and talk to that woman again. Lady Piermont.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
And there we go, look. So we've unlocked the option there to talk about the key.
Would you distract the clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Yes.
Oh, no. It's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine way for a boy to get licked into shape. Now tell me, why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick.
I think it is an empty room, yeah, because it's a spare key, but what we do, if I remember rightly, is you climb out the window and across to Merlin's room.
I say, you
madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course, madame.
Good. I wish to deposit some jewellery for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, bien sûr, madame.
Over to you, my dear.
Let's take the key. We've got the key. Brilliant. So now let's go upstairs.
The sign on the door read 21.
So I think the key is for 21. And we climb across.
Maybe it wasn't the right room, but this was the right key.
Yeah. Okay. So, look in the drawer. I don't think there's anything in the drawer.
The cabinet was empty, but it smelt of onions. No kidding, it really did.
Weird. So we climb out this window, I believe. That's it. We move across. So there. Awesome. So let's have a look. This must be Merlin's room.
The assassin had been too smart to leave incriminating evidence beside his bed.
But I believe that we have to look in his wardrobe now. Yeah, so we're going to take those trousers. No, don't shut the door again. Why can't I select that?
The closet was a solid, impressive
Yeah.
piece of antique furniture.
What? I want these trousers. Why is it doing that? Okay.
The closet was a solid, impressive piece of antique furniture. The closet was a...
Can't see to get the trousers. Why can't we get the trousers? Is this a glitch? There's got to be something we can... There's a briefcase there as well. So I definitely know we got to get those trousers. It's just how. Oh no, actually, I think we've got to try and leave first. Yeah,
It was calm.
that's it.
I had the kind
done
of
it.
feeling in my stomach that would usually send me running to the bathroom.
Yeah, get in the wardrobe once he comes in. That makes more sense.
As Khan opened the wardrobe, I was sure I was dead. But he grabbed his pants quickly and didn't even see me. I didn't usually spy on men getting changed. But this guy was a killer, and I didn't want any surprises. He left his checkered pants on the bed.
Ah, so those are the checkered pants that match the material that we found in the sewers in episode 1. See them? Oh no. So, let's have a look. Feels a bit weird.
I had that kind of feeling you only get from searching still warm pants. The pocket was empty.
So there's that rip look there. So that must be what we found in the sewers.
There was nothing in the pocket.
Turn it
I
over.
flipped the pants over.
Ah, so
I found an ordinary matchbook. No matches, no clues. But as I pulled it from the pocket, a strong thread came with it. A thread with a metal tag on the end.
ooh,
I found nothing in the pocket.
is there anything else? So
The matchbook bore a pattern of swirling color and the words Club Alamut.
it's that there, isn't it? Yeah. Little
I
cord.
pulled on the metal tag and the thread came out of the pants. It was like pulling out a ripcord.
Let's flip them back over.
I turned the pants over again.
So that stitch pocket. There we go. Look.
I searched the pocket gingerly and found a pass card. It read Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Right, so we've got Merlin's card now, so we've got an ID card, which means we can get into his safe downstairs. So we talk to this guy.
What now, monsieur?
I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Your passport?
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats.
This here.
Does this pass mean anything to you?
That is Monsieur Merlin's property.
That's right. Merlin the murderer. I want to see what he's left in your safe.
Impossible. I cannot betray his confidence, no matter what you say he's done.
You're making a big mistake.
Maybe. I can live with that. A murderer? Are you sure?
Positive.
Let's get Lady Piermont on the case.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
I found this pass in Merlin's room.
So, that deceitful little man is passing himself off as an electrician, is he?
Uh-huh. This guy probably has 1,000,000 faces. I showed the pass to the clerk, hoping he'd give me Merlin's papers, but he wouldn't buy it. He's too scared.
I'll give him something to be scared of. Follow me, George! Did you place a package from Merlin in the hotel safe?
I did, madame.
And did my friend here show you Merlin's identification?
Indeed he did, but
What's the problem?
he isn't Merlin.
A mere academic detail. Give him the package.
But that is against the law.
I happen to be a justice of the peace, you silly man. I am the law. If he tries anything, shoot him, George.
My pleasure, Lady Piermont.
One moment, please.
You know, I haven't enjoyed myself this much since Greenham Common.
I don't know what I would have done without you, Lady Piermont.
Voilà, monsieur. Le manuscrit de Monsieur Merlin.
Thanks.
How satisfying. An Anglo-American alliance that actually worked.
The clerk had given me a tightly rolled sheet of parchment. I decided not to unroll it until I was safely back in Nico's apartment.
Okay, so this is the bit where we can die. So we could just leave now and go to Nico's apartment. But remember those two goons outside? They will search us, they'll find the manuscript, and they'll kill us because they work for Merlin. So what you have to do is to go back upstairs into the room. You go out this window. And then we're going to take the manuscript and just throw it on the
I
floor
knew
outside.
this was no way to treat an ancient manuscript, but I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the goons waiting outside.
Okay, So we've done that. So now we can go outside. And we won't get killed.
Just a minute, monsieur.
What's your problem?
No problem, if you cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet.
Hey, knock it off. Get off, you big ape.
Nothing, Guido. Zilch.
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I had to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
You want I should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
Cool. So if we had the manuscript on us then, they would have found the manuscript and kill you.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out. Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, George.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, George.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking? Do you have a boyfriend?
Not anymore. There was someone. A guy in my final year, but it didn't work out. Neither did my degree.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Tell me more about your family.
When I was a little girl, I used to spend the winter with my grandfather and grandma. They were the best times, warm and safe in their tiny cottage. My grandfather rolled cigarettes while grandma made hot chocolate and cakes. One day, he stopped his scrolling. He put the lid back on his tobacco jar and took me in his arms. I laughed and wriggled, but he hushed me to be silent. With his unshaven chin all scratchy in my ear, he told me his secret.
What did he say?
He said, I don't smoke, but she likes to think I do.
What a weird old man.
Don't call my grandfather weird. He was the nicest guy ever. I wish I was back in that cottage instead of this crummy apartment in this noisy city.
You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the Ubu.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades.
Watch this short movie.
This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive.
Jeez.
Stop
So the
suddenly.
treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, It's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
So I think we should have unlocked the museum now. Or maybe not. Maybe we've got to do a little bit more. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, Josh.
Let's start way up.
I found this in the killer's room.
We forgot to do this.
What is it, a credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research.
Oh,
Yeah?
we've listened to this.
Oh,
Not yet.
what's that?
Patience.
Oh,
Okay. So we've done that.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room.
So I am going to skip the dialogue if you've already heard it.
It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue, a name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir. Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover? It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
Okay, so we've got to go through these 5 things and then she'll tell us about the museum.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the Wicked Queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said mirror, mirror on the wall, wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either. A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again. Look there, 2 guys on the same horse. Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these
There
things.
we go.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobineau.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobineau guy?
At the Krone Museum. I'll give you the address.
Cool. Okay, let's go.
I have to go.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobineau at the Krone Museum.
There it is, museum.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
Are you Lobineau?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobineau does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No, no, no. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is I am no scholar, not like Monsieur Lobineau.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not.
Yeah, so he's not that helpful.
Thanks for your help.
But this here is the tripod that we're looking for.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
Cool. So we found out Ireland and then yeah. Let's go tell Nico.
Hi, I've been to the Croon Museum.
Did you speak to Lobineau?
No, he wasn't there. Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Let's not do that.
Look at...
There's between...
Do we have to go through all that?
There's but and the night through...
There, so let's talk about the
I
manuscript.
found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marne.
I have heard of Loch Marne. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marne. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marne must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Pegram's gem is important, why don't you visit Loch Marne?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly? Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clan's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The 2nd week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
Alright.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Do I get to go to Ireland now? Yeah.
I passed the castle on the way into Loch Marne. The castle where Pegram's excavation was located.
Cool. Alright, so I'm just going to take a short break and I'll be back in about 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, and then we'll start exploring Ireland and see if we can find the gem that we're looking for. So thanks for sticking around. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're enjoying this on Twitch, follow. And yeah, we're back very shortly.
Please believe me when I tell you, you are not alone. It has taken me so long to see you are not alone. closer now. Feeling weary, let I tell you, you are not alone. Try to show me that lunacy, you are not alone. Desperation, loneliness, it all seems so real. When it all breaks down in the dark and early morning, and you're lying in your bed, nightmares seem much closer now. The isolation, emptiness, it's all there to feel. When it all breaks down in the dark and early morning, and you're lying in your bed, nightmares seem much closer now. Please believe me when I tell you, you are not alone. It has taken me so long to see you are not alone. Desperation, loneliness, it all seems so real. When it all breaks down in the dark and early morning, and you're lying in your bed, nightmares seem much closer now. Nightmares seem much closer now. Nightmares seem much closer now. Every morning, kick yourself out of bed. Try not to drown. Get a coffee instead.
1, 2, 3, up.
And keep it straight inside your head. It's only
Okay. So let's load this back up.
a double-headed snake is eating up.
One. This is the one. There we go. Sorry about that. So we're back. Okay then. So let's start exploring Ireland. It's my favourite. This is always my favourite place. This. It's you're in here for quite some time, and there's lots to do in Ireland. And this kid here is my favourite character as well. He's the only one in the game you can get with a handshake as well.
Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
I'm George Stobart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case, mister. A few sandwiches short of a picnic.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run from me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I, see what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year. What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No.
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Loch Man.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worst. It was coming from inside the castle.
Ooh. Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows. I could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but my legs had lost their stuffing.
Did you get to see the ghost?
Indeed I did. And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see, and he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
Can you tell me where I'd find Pegram?
No, I can't, 'cause he's not here now, but if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Do you know what Pegram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure? Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Ready for this?
Give me your hand.
Get lost.
Oh, come on. I just want to show you a little trick.
No way, mister. I don't do tricks. Father Mahoney told me I'd burn in hell if I did.
I just want to shake your hand, that's all.
No way.
Oh, I thought you could. Maybe it's someone else. Anyway, let's go
See you
to
later,
the pub.
kid.
Okay, mister.
Okay. Let's talk to this guy.
My name's George.
Pleased to meet you, mister. My name's Fitzgerald.
What can you tell me about the castle?
There's nothing there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I used to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little ones fell off the wall, broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Do you know Professor Pegram?
He's the archaeologist, isn't he?
That's right. Did you work at Professor Pegram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
Can I get you another drink?
Oh, no, thank you. I shouldn't be drinking at all. I'm on tablets for my nerves. More than a pint and I'll pass out.
Do you
Sure,
recognize
picture.
the man in this photograph?
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
So,
See you later.
let's talk to him.
Hi, my name's Stobart, George Stobart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
Do you know Professor Pegram?
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself? No, I don't. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to.
Do you know anything about Pegram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Pegram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology, Pat. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and flavoured condoms, more likely.
Did anyone from the village work at Pegram's dig?
I tried it myself, but that high and mighty history man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Do you remember seeing Sean Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick. Same again.
Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of brown coming up.
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to think of it, it was only last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
Can you tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh, I don't know much about anything. You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He just joined up writing. Would you be one of them history fellas yourself?
Sure, why not?
That's right. Professor Stobart, Miskatonic University.
You're an archaeologist, and you're asking us about the castle.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien. The gentleman was talking to me. How come you didn't leave with the others?
I didn't know they'd gone.
Oh, yes. Packed their spades and shovels and away they went.
Seems I missed all the excitement.
What excitement?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
It's a handsome mug on that fella, to be sure. Is he a film star?
Bye for now.
I think we have to talk to him again. There's a bit of this. We need to get him to leave the bar.
Mr. Fitzgerald? Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig. He's seen you there. You might as well admit it.
I knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah. You too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no. What makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefit at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he? So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving. He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
Show me what's in the package, Sean.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give the package to me.
No. Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem.
There he goes.
Hey, I just seen a big red.
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy, Michael.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Okay, let's go and check that out, see what's happened.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I, and I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass, but the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
Ah, Pixie. So that was the other costume, wasn't it, that Nico mentioned. So we know we're definitely on the right track here. Okay, so if you've noticed, this has come off the wall, so we smashed into that, which has opened up a bit of a lever for us.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
So if I remember rightly, we now have to go into the pub and prompt the barman to get us to fix his washer.
Top of the morning to you.
I beg your pardon.
Well, that's what you Irish say, isn't it?
Do you want something? Or are you just flaunting your xenophobia?
Well, I was trying to be sociable.
Is it a room you're after?
No.
No, thank you. I don't plan to stay too long.
Who does? Most folk take one look at Lochmarn and jump back on the bus.
Let's get a drink.
I'll try a glass of beer, please.
Is this your first pint of real ale?
Well, I guess so. What's real ale, anyhow?
Beer that's brewed from natural ingredients to traditional methods. It shouldn't be kept under pressure or refrigerated. And finally, it should have a good body and distinctive character.
In other words, it's flat and worn with bits in, and it makes you fall over.
I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I could fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
Right, So he wants an electrician. Now, in the hotel, we found this electrician's card, so we can pretend we're an electrician.
It just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, now, isn't that marvellous? Here's a house
Hello,
bedeviled with faulty
OMFG.
wiring of a wayward nature.
EBQ1.
Here's you,
How are you?
an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer. And when you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
Right now, so can I pick that up? Don't need it yet, but I'll need it eventually. Right.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
So what we need to do is get a bit of metal. I think it's this guy here we need to get it off, the one who's splurting his guts everywhere. We need to get something off him.
Hi there, old-timer. What? Nasty cold you've got there. As soon as the words left my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty? I put the question to Father Mahoney. Father, says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said, it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. 'Tis the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
Your favourite game? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's one of my favourite games as well. I'd played it when I played it years ago when I was a kid on the PS1. This is the director's cut, so I've not played the director's cut before. So it's got a few little extra bits and things with Nico Collard. It's all new to me, so that bit's quite exciting for me. But this bit I'm very familiar with. Oh yeah, play my favourite game in English. So what language are you used to it in?
What's that you're making?
It's a necklace, me bucko.
Oh, sure. Made out of steel wire?
That's right. A necklace for my pretty one. When my little lover feels it round her slender neck, she'll be mine. All mine.
Can I buy you a beer?
Very kind, I'm sure. But I don't drink the stuff Leary sells.
What's wrong with it?
I've seen what it can do.
Can you tell me how to get into the castle?
Don't even think about it, me bucko. Lochmarn Castle is haunted.
That's what the kid outside told me, but I don't believe it.
Then you're a fool.
Ghosts don't bother me. I still want to visit that castle.
You can't. It's not open to the public.
There's no one around to stop me, is there?
That's right. Nothing human, anyhow.
Have you ever seen the ghost?
To be sure. With me very own eyes.
Can you describe the ghost?
It was horrible. A wee stunted beast, long beak, straggly, flappy wings.
Are you sure it wasn't a wild animal? A rabbit or a skunk or something?
Skunk? In Lochmarn? That'll be the day. No, that was a ghost, to be sure.
Ghost?
I think I know what you saw on the castle wall.
I know what I saw.
I don't think so. It was the kid, McGuire.
What?
He was up on the wall last Tuesday night. He thought you were the Phantom of Lochmarn.
Oh.
Do you know Pegram, the archaeologist?
That's the scrawny fellow who was poking around at the castle, isn't it? No, I don't know him.
Yeah, Rolf Saxon. He's great, isn't he, George? Lovely voice. No, I've only ever played it in English. It's good from Holland. Cool. Welcome along. Thanks for joining. So we need to get this wire off him, don't we? So how do we do that again?
I'll see you later.
We need to wait for him to put it down, I think. There we go. And when he sneezes, we can take it.
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed his piece
That
of
took me
wire.
ages to figure out the first time round. Cool, so now what we can do is put that on there.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug.
Yeah, so let's get this wire. Pop it in.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half-pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Down into the cellar. We'll pull this lever on the wall, I think. You just got to do that to discover it's broken.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
So let's pop outside. Cool.
I lifted the trap door and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Oh.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know
He's got
anything
the
either.
scar.
The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, deny everything. Go on, off you go. Okay then. Let's return to the cellar.
Now I could see. I spotted Mr. Leary's flashlight easily.
Flashlight, cool.
Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door. It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way. You're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari.
So now I think we're going to the infamous goat scene is coming up soon, and this always makes it into the halls of fame of difficult puzzles and things like that. It's not a difficult puzzle, it just took so long, and before the days of the internet where we could just Google stuff, we had to just figure it out. So I remember getting stuck on this for a long time. In fact, I think I put the game down for a while and was just like, I don't know what to do with this goat, and had to wait for it to come out in a gaming magazine. Someone had to, I think it was like a Q&A, question and answer, and someone wrote in, how do you get past the goat? Don't have trouble with the goat, but use the walkthrough. Yeah, well, this was when I played this. It was before the times of walkthroughs and things. Unless you physically had a book that you could read with the walkthrough, or someone had physically written it and published it. You just didn't know. You had to ring your friends, and that's what I used to do. My friend played this before me and completed it. So his mother must have hated me. I was on the phone to him like 10 times a day. How do you get past this next bit on Broken Sword? But yeah, I often see
Hi,
this
do you
this
speak
scenario
English?
coming
Well,
up
now, what if
in
I was to
YouTube
say,
videos
no,
of difficult
an implication
games
of
and things like
cognizance
that.
shrouded in denial, a pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice. What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. Ah, but if these old stones could only speak, what stories they'd tell. Stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
Have you seen Professor Pegram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Yeah, the dial-up connection internet. But I don't think I had internet at this point. I think I must have got the internet not long after this. But I remember I had to wait, and I saw it in a magazine, a gaming magazine, and I was like, finally, I can get past it. But yeah, now we can just Google it, can't we? And
maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
I would have been 10 years old in 1998.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle, his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvellous! I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
Yeah, I've played this game a few times myself. I don't think I would play it. I don't play it every year, but I do have it's part of my game rotation, definitely. This one, the second one, and the third one as well. I haven't played past the third one. I think I bought the fourth one, and I didn't get a chance to play it. So maybe I'll go try and get through them all. That'd be good if I could stream
Even
them all.
if I stretched as far
Go
as
through
I
the
could,
entire
the wall
thing.
was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
Yeah, let's say goodbye to our thing.
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the
Lifting
mortarless
key.
crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step.
Yeah, I haven't heard good things about the fourth one. I did enjoy the third one, but I think the third one I played it on PC, and it wasn't quite point and click. I think you had to move, if I remember rightly. You had to move with the controller or the keyboard, and I got stuck on a bit where you had to run away from someone in a cave, and I didn't have a controller with the analog stick or anything. So I only had the WASD keys, and I just got stuck because it was so clunky the way he walked. And I remember trying to run away, and you had to stop to turn, and it was impossible to do with a keyboard. So I put it down for a bit, and then I later got it on the PS2 or PS3, I think, or something. I had a controller anyway, and I got past that bit. It was much easier. But yeah, it was impossible to play on the PC, I found. Okay, here it is. Look at her. It's got like a proper human face. That's funny. So I think we just have to go over here. Yeah, and then quickly go and grab that. No. Oh, I can't remember now. Or was it over here? That's it, yeah.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
Yeah, they've changed that because I think in the original you had to fall over first and then quickly run over to the thing, which is why it was so difficult. But all I had to do there was click. So they've definitely changed the difficulty of that there. I fancy that. So down we go. Yeah, Broken Sword 3 was very good. I think it's my wife's favourite one as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I did like, once I had the controller, I enjoyed the way it worked. I enjoyed having to physically move around with the controller. Okay.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Do we pick it back up, I think?
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Yeah, cool.
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints.
Yeah, I agree. The original just has, well, it's just more nostalgic for me, but it just has a little bit more character. I think it feels nicer. But this one, what I like about this one is these little extra bits you get with Nico is quite fun.
I reached into the sack, but it was empty.
Extra story there. It's good. So I think we got to go back to the pub and wet the towel, right? Or do we have to put the plaster? Let's put the plaster of Paris in first, I think. Right. Yeah, so we'll pop that in there.
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled.
And then up to the pub. We just got a. So we took that towel off the bar earlier. We're going to use that. So we'll. So.
The slow drip of water barely dampened the towel.
Turn the tap on first.
The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
I also think, if I remember rightly, in the original game, you had to wet the towel 3 times before it was properly wet. I think you only have to do it once in this.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Let's see if once works. Let's quickly make our way back. No, I may be wrong. Maybe I just probably made that up in my own head. I just did it 3 times as a habit. I don't know, but yeah, this should work. Oh no, yeah, look at that first. Yeah, these little zoom in bits I think are new as well. You never used to have to zoom into a thing like that. There we go.
The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster. I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
And then we put that in those holes, yeah?
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. It is better for newer players.
Silence.
Down we go. Okay, so this is a newer bit. It's a bit I'm not familiar with, so let's see what we have to do. Let's just click things.
There wasn't anyone that I needed to call.
So that's just to sit down. What's this?
I had messages waiting to be played.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor. Guess what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk, Nico. That story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Hey, Nico, it's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I got some amazing news for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Slonsha. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo like a local.
Mademoiselle Coulard, this is Imelda Carchon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news. There's a Monsieur Merlon coming to see me this evening. He says he knows why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says. Goodbye, dear girl. Till tomorrow.
Merlin? Oh my God. Merlin's the killer. I'd better get over there and warn her now. When it came to being two-faced, Imelda was up there with the best. I owed her nothing, but I couldn't just let her die. I arrived to find the Palais Royal courtyard deserted. I only hoped that I'd beaten the assassin.
Oh, a little glitch there, sorry about that. Right, so we go in.
Locked? No way was I going to break through a door like that. The intercom system wasn't working. Bad sign. Somebody had cut the wire.
Let me climb up.
Fixed tight. Presumably to stop critics stealing it. Who else would want to?
Try that. Okay.
I unhooked the first wire.
Second wire.
I released the second wire. Even with both wires removed, the statue remained upright.
We push it. Yeah. Awesome.
If I could deconstruct this, I could deconstruct anything.
I love that about George and Nico. They just don't care, do they? They're just like, yeah, I'm going to dismantle this for my own gratification.
The plastic sheet was thick and strong. I'd need more than my hands to tear it.
Do I have anything?
No.
No. Maybe this. Ah, cool. Oh yeah, this was at the beginning where the who was it? Someone was murdered. Carchon or something like that, Pierre. Oh yeah, I remember this. Right here.
My God, I'm too late.
There she is.
Imelda. Oh no.
Nico?
Don't worry, you're going to be all right.
You know that isn't true.
It was Merlin, wasn't it?
Dressed as a cavalier. How absurd. You came to warn me, didn't you?
I must be crazy.
Let me see you, Nico.
All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda?
You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you.
You didn't know my father.
So like him. Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other.
She was gone. She cheated me, lied to me, used me. But why?
Okay.
Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace. I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key.
Let's take the key.
I took the key. I had to leave. I knew I could never return.
Alright.
My first Teddy. Never had a boyfriend as loyal as him.
No, I'm finding that it's nice and everything. I suppose for
In the dim
an
light,
older player, it's
I
just a
caught
bit
the
of
reflection of something metallic.
it's just an Easter
A
egg, isn't it?
small,
Really?
sinister
Yeah, you're
looking
right. I
metal
don't think it
disc
adds that much.
Had been tucked under my father's box. It was a bug.
I guess I just wanted to make her a playable character like she is in Broken Sword 2, I suppose.
You don't scare me. Especially.
Oh, I do remember an earlier scene where there's a thing, like a chest or something. Maybe that's what the key's for. Yeah.
The box was carved by my father. It never had a key. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Carchon's.
I feel clever. To this one.
I took out the key. I couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside. Hotel St. Georges, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you're really working for. Or about us.
I did enjoy the puzzles on the Nico bits, like opening that gate with the two locks.
But I don't have your courage.
And
I know too
deciphering
much
the
of what has
letter
been
as
going
well
on
was
here.
quite fun.
They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty. Do they give medals to spies? No. They'll just give you a funny job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda. It was a photograph of Imelda. I felt as if a black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Canchon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered. And there, next to them, staring out at me across the years, my own father. I stared at my father's image. Looked deep into his eyes. What was he thinking when this picture was taken? How brave he had been. I missed him so much. He and Imelda must have fallen in love. She'd found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
Okay. The next morning. She's just been sat there
I knew
all
it
night.
was George. For a moment I was tempted to pretend that I was out, or ask him to go away and come back later. But then... Come in.
Hello, George.
George.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pigram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pigram's gem?
The Templars' gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Alright. So now what? So I leave. I don't think you need to look at the manuscript again, do you?
I can't sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobinot at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do for you
Oh,
while I'm
that's
out?
right, yeah, you
Shopping,
go
a
talk
trip
to
to the
Rosso.
laundromat.
Just take care of yourself.
We've got Rosso in the museum to do. There's a hospital. The hospital's soon as well, isn't it? I think.
I so much wanted to talk to George about everything that had happened, but I knew I never could. My father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever. His bravery would be known only to the government. and to me. Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
So Rosso is at the police station. Oh. Oh, Moo's there.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes?
I was one of the last people to see the victim alive, Sergeant.
Does that worry you?
Yes, it does. I feel I owe it to him to find his killer.
That is best left to the authorities, monsieur. Did he speak to you? Tell you anything?
No, he just grinned and nodded.
Don't let it trouble you, monsieur. Go home and try to forget.
I know the identity of the dead guy. His name was Plantow.
Is that so? You knew him, did you?
No, but...
We'll know everything there is to know about him soon enough.
I'm trying to be helpful here.
The best way you
God,
can
I
help
don't
us
like
is
Moo.
to go
He really
home,
winds me up,
monsieur.
Moo.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
He's a great character, though. I just don't like
I've been
him.
harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see.
But we're not meant to.
And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic, in the Avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lawns.
Do you know a man named Khan? He's a shifty-looking guy with a scar on his left cheek.
No, monsieur.
He also calls himself Thomas Merlin.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Stobart. I don't know him. Has this man any connection with the bombing of the cafe?
Yes. I believe Khan was the name he used when he hired the clown costume. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur.
It's the guy who bombed the cafe. The clown.
This man looks nothing like a clown.
He's taken off his grease paint and costume.
Then there is nothing to link this man with the killing.
Shut up, Moo.
Nothing? Look at those murderous eyes.
Hardly likely to get him convicted.
Yeah, I think we're done.
See you later, Sergeant.
Hospital. Hospital. Okay then. He is one of the. He's innocent enough, isn't he? He's all right, really. He's just a bit awkward, I guess. But yeah, he's a great character. I just always find myself getting irritated with him. But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. I normally, these Broken Sword episodes I like to keep about 2 hours long, just so they're easier to upload onto YouTube, so I can build up a playlist of a Let's Play Broken Sword. So yeah, this is a nice place to stop, I think. So thank you very much for stopping by and joining me. If you want to see more of this, don't forget to follow, help me get my 50 followers. And I try to, my schedule isn't always the same every week because I work shifts, so it tends to change, but I do try and keep you updated as much as possible. I do play other games as well. I think my next stream will probably be Final Fantasy XI. These are the two games that I'm playing at the moment, and then I try to do Broken Sword at least once a week. So yeah, let's save it here. Successfully saved, and yeah, thank you very much for staying. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and enjoy your evening too. Nice to meet you. Okay. There we go. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.